The cock crowed loudly in the village of Amoni, announcing another dawn. The sun had not yet broken the line of the hills, but the air was already alive with the sounds of women pounding yam, children fetching water from the stream, and men preparing their tools for the farm. In the middle of this village lived Obinna, the only son of Eniodia. Obinna was handsome, tall, and strong. His skin was dark and smooth like polished ebony, and his eyes carried a mischievous spark that made many maidens giggle when he passed. But beneath his beauty lay pride, thick, heavy, and sharp like the blade of a hunter's knife. Obinna believed he was the gift of the gods to women. He moved from one maiden to another like a bee that never rested on one flower. Many mothers wept over their daughters because of him, yet many young women still secretly wished he would notice them. But Obinna's arrogance did not stop at the maidens. Even his own mother, Eniodia, tasted the bitterness of his disrespect. She would speak gently to him, advising him like a mother hen guiding her chick, but he would snap at her. One morning, after Eniodia had prepared his breakfast of yam porridge, she said, "Obinna, my son, a man who dishonors women dishonors the womb that bore him. Remember, the earth itself is a mother." Obinna laughed loudly, throwing his head back. "Mama, spare me your old woman's wisdom. Women are only useful for cooking, bearing children, and warming a man's bed. Nothing more." Eniodia's eyes glistened with tears, but she said nothing more. She only shook her head and whispered to herself, "A child who does not hear advice will hear misfortune." That day, Obinna walked through the village square with a swagger, his chest high, his words sharp. He saw Adiz, the daughter of the palm wine tapper, carrying a pot of water. He whistled at her and said loudly enough for the elders sitting under the iroko tree to hear, "Adiz, when will you stop carrying water on your head like a maid and start carrying my child in your belly?" The men laughed, but Adiz dropped the pot, her face burning with shame. She ran away without a word. The elders shook their heads, but no one spoke, for Obinna was known to insult even old men who corrected him. Obinna's pride grew taller than the tallest iroko in Amoni. The next market day, the village square was filled with traders from neighboring towns. Women spread mats and displayed vegetables, spices, and cloths. Men haggled over goats and chickens. Children ran about, laughing and playing. Obinna entered the square like a king. He wore a white wrapper and beads around his neck, his body shining with palm oil he had rubbed on himself. Every step he took was full of confidence. At the center of the market, where people gathered to gossip and share news, Obinna raised his voice. "Hear me, people of Amoni," he said, his voice loud like the town criers. "There is no woman in this land who can resist me. Women are weak creatures, born to serve men. Look at them, selling pepper, carrying baskets, gossiping like birds. Without men, they are nothing." A heavy silence fell. Some women muttered angrily under their breath, but others looked away in fear. The men laughed nervously, shaking their heads. Eniodia, who had come to sell cassava, heard her son's words. Her heart tightened like a rope around a goat's neck. She wanted to shout at him, to drag him away, but her legs refused to move. One bold old woman, Mama Neka, could not keep quiet. She spat on the ground and said, "Obinna, pride walks before destruction. A cock that crows too loudly will one day end up in the cooking pot." Obinna turned to her and laughed in her face. "Old woman, go home and rest. What do you know of the ways of young men? Keep your tongue in your mouth before I cut it with my words." The crowd gasped, but Obinna walked away, laughing. That night, he went to the hut of Oninai, a maiden known for her beauty. He whispered sweet lies into her ears until she yielded to him. The next week, he was with Kayamika. The week after, he was with Ngozi. Each time, he left them broken, ashamed, and mocked by the village. The whispers of his arrogance spread beyond Amoni to neighboring villages. Mothers warned their daughters, "Stay away from Obinna, the son of Eniodia. His tongue is sweet, but his heart is rotten." But Obinna's pride only grew. He would stand in the moonlight with his friends, boasting, "I am Obinna, the lion among men. Women are ants under my feet. I can have any of them, and none can resist me." His friends cheered, but the night itself seemed to grow heavier, as if the spirits of the ancestors listened in silence. Enyodia's heart was heavy with sorrow. Every day she watched her son grow more reckless, more arrogant, more disrespectful. She prayed to the gods at the shrine of Amedioha, asking for guidance. She poured libation at the foot of the Iroko tree, begging the spirits of her ancestors to soften her son's heart. But Obinna's ears were deaf to every counsel. One evening, she called him to sit with her by the fire. The flames danced in the darkness, casting shadows on their faces. "My son," she began softly, "a man who insults women forgets that it was a woman who carried him for 9 months and fed him with her own breast. You are digging a pit with your own hands, Obinna. Do not fall into it." Obinna snorted, tossing a piece of firewood into the flames. "Mama, enough of your talk. I am not a child. I know my path. Women are nothing. I am greater than them all." Enyodia's hands trembled. Tears rolled down her cheeks. "Obinna, my son, do not challenge the gods with your tongue. A tree does not make noise when the axe is near. Listen to me before it is too late." But Obinna rose to his feet, his face hard like stone. "Mama, save your tears. I will never bow to women, not even you." He walked away into the night, leaving his mother weeping by the fire. That night, as the moon shone over Amoni, Enyodia prayed again. But this time, her prayer was different. She whispered, "Spirits of my ancestors, if my son will not hear my voice, let him hear the voice of his doom. Teach him the lesson that I cannot." The wind rustled the trees, and somewhere in the distance, a dog howled. Unbeknown to Obinna, the path of his downfall had already begun. The days turned into weeks, and Obinna's name was on every tongue in Amoni. Mothers whispered his name as a curse, warning their daughters to steer clear of him. Fathers shook their heads in shame whenever he passed, saying, "That boy is like a yam without stake, it will crawl on the ground until it rots." But the maidens? Oh, some of them still admired him in secret. His smooth tongue, his tall frame, his boldness. Even though they had seen what became of those who yielded to him, some hearts still beat faster when he walked by. Obinna, blinded by pride, noticed the whispers but cared little. "Let them talk," he told his friends one evening as they sat under the moonlight. "When the lion walks, the goats will always bleat. Women are still at my feet, and I will take any of them I desire." The elders of the village began to discuss his behavior. One night, under the Iroko tree, Elder Okonkwo said, "This boy will bring calamity upon our land. No child mocks the mother that bore him and goes unpunished. If he continues like this, the gods themselves will rise against him." But Obinna, drunk with his own pride, cared little for the warnings of men or gods. One market day, something unusual happened. A stranger came into Amoni, a woman unlike any the villagers had seen before. She appeared at the market like the first rain after a long dry season. Her beauty was breathtaking. Her skin glowed like moonlight on calm water, her eyes sparkled like stars hidden behind clouds, and her movements were graceful, like a leopard in the forest. She wore a wrapper of deep blue, tied tightly around her waist, and her headscarf shone with patterns no one recognized. The air seemed to change wherever she walked, men's eyes followed her, and women fell silent in awe. The market women whispered, "Who is she? Which village does she come from? I have never seen her before." But the stranger smiled quietly, asking no questions and giving no answers. She bought palm oil, groundnut, and a piece of cloth, then left the market without revealing her name. Obinna's eyes had found her long before others noticed. The moment she entered the market, he froze, like a hunter who had spotted rare prey. His chest swelled with pride. Oh, he whispered to himself. The gods have finally sent me a woman worthy of my name. This one will not escape me. That night, he boasted to his friends. You saw her, did you not? The stranger, the beauty that lit the market. She will be mine. I will break her pride like I have broken every other woman. His friends laughed nervously. One of them, Emeka, said, Obinna, this one is different. She does not look like an ordinary woman. There was something in her eyes, as if she carried secrets. Obinna slapped his shoulder playfully. Nonsense. She is flesh and blood like all others. Tomorrow, I will speak to her, and before the next moon, she will be in my arms. But Emeka shook his head and muttered, a man who chases a shadow will soon be swallowed by the night. Obinna ignored him. The next day, Obinna searched the village, asking questions about the stranger. But no one knew where she lived. Some said she had come from a distant village. Others swore they saw her walk toward the forest after leaving the market. For 3 days, she did not appear again. Obinna grew restless. He could not eat well, his thoughts were filled with her image. On the 4th day, at dusk, Obinna saw her again. She was walking slowly along the narrow path that led to the stream, carrying a clay pot on her head. Oh! Obinna exclaimed. The gods have answered me. He rushed to meet her, flashing his usual arrogant smile. Beautiful one, he said, bowing slightly. I am Obinna, son of the soil, lion among men. Tell me your name, so that the trees of this forest may hear it. The woman stopped and looked at him. Her eyes were calm, yet deep, as though they carried the secrets of 100 rivers. My name does not matter, she said softly. Her voice was sweet but carried a weight that made Obinna's chest tighten. What matters is the path you walk. Obinna laughed loudly. Oh! You speak in riddles, but do not worry. Soon, you will learn that no woman resists Obinna. I will make you mine. The woman tilted her head slightly, studying him. Be careful what you wish for, son of Ifeoma. Not every flower is meant to be plucked. But Obinna only laughed again. You will see, my beauty. Even the strongest flowers bend to the lion's paw. The woman said nothing more. She lifted her pot, walked past him, and disappeared into the shadows of the forest path. That night, Obinna could not sleep. The stranger's face haunted him. Her calm voice echoed in his ears. He swore that before the next moon cycle, she would be his. What Obinna did not know was that he had already stepped into a trap, one woven not by man, but by something far greater. For many days, Obinna chased the mysterious woman. He followed her to the stream, to the market, even to the forest path. Each time, she looked at him with the same calm eyes and spoke little. Her silence only fueled his desire. She is proud, he told himself. But no woman can resist me for long. One evening, when the moon was high and round, Obinna found her again at the stream. She was filling her pot, humming a song so strange it made the hairs on his neck rise. Beautiful one, he called, stepping forward. Enough of this hiding. Tonight, you will walk with me. She looked at him and smiled faintly. Obinna, do you truly know what you are asking for? He grinned. I ask for you, and nothing more. By tomorrow's dawn, the village will know you belong to me. The woman's eyes glowed faintly in the moonlight. So be it. Meet me tonight at the edge of the forest, near the old sick cotton tree. Obinna's heart leaped with triumph. He puffed his chest and returned home, boasting to his friends. Tonight, the stranger will be mine. Did I not tell you? Even the proudest river flows into the sea. His friends warned him again, but he silenced them with laughter. When night fell, Obinna went to the sick cotton tree. The woman was waiting, her beauty brighter than the moon itself. Without a word, she took his hand and led him deeper into the forest. The air grew colder. The trees seemed to lean closer, whispering among themselves. But Obinna was blind with desire. They reached a small clearing. A fire burned there, though no one had lit it. The flames danced without wood, glowing red and blue. The woman turned to him. Obinna, she said, her voice echoing strangely, do you still want me? Obinna laughed proudly. Of course. No woman can frighten me. You are mine tonight. The woman's smile widened, but her eyes were dark. So be it. She stepped closer. Her body was warm, but the fire around them burned cold. When she kissed him, his strength seemed to melt away, like salt in water. His knees shook, but he held on, eager for more. Then, suddenly, the fire roared higher. The ground trembled. Shadows leaped across the trees. And Obinna realized too late that he was not holding a woman, he was holding something else. The woman's skin grew cold in his arms. Her soft features hardened, shifting like clay. Her eyes glowed red, her teeth sharp as a wild animal's. Her hair spread out like living snakes. Obinna staggered back, his heart pounding. What are you?" he stammered. The creature laughed, a sound that rattled the leaves of the forest. "You called yourself a lion, Obinna. But tonight, you are prey." He turned to run, but his legs would not move. His body felt heavy, chained by invisible ropes. The fire circled around him, and the woman, no, the spirit, moved closer. "Do you know who I am?" she asked. "I am the daughter of the river, the judge of arrogant men, the breaker of pride. I come when women's tears reach the ears of the gods. And your mother's tears reached me." Obinna's eyes widened. "My mother?" "Yes," the spirit said, her voice thunderous now. "She wept for you. She begged the spirits to teach you a lesson. And so, here I am." Obinna fell to his knees. "No, please. Forgive me. I will change. I will honor women, I will respect my mother, I swear." The spirit's eyes softened slightly, but her face remained stern. "It is too late, son of Enyodia. A cup that crows at dawn cannot swallow its own voice. You have sown seeds of shame, and now you must harvest them." She stretched her hand, and Obinna felt fire enter his chest. His strength drained away. His muscles weakened, his proud posture collapsed. The beauty that once charmed women seemed to melt from his face. When he looked into the river nearby, he saw his reflection and gasped. His once handsome face was pale and sunken. His eyes, once sharp, looked hollow. His body trembled like that of an old man. Obinna screamed into the night, but the forest only echoed his cry. The spirit stepped back into the fire, her form fading. "Go, Obinna. Return to your people. Let them see what has become of the lion who mocked women." Then she was gone. The fire vanished. The forest fell silent. Obinna was left alone, broken, trembling, his pride shattered into dust. When Obinna staggered back to the village, dawn was breaking. His steps were slow, his body bent, his face pale. The villagers who saw him gasped. "Is this Obinna? What has happened to him? The lion has become a goat." Children pointed at him, laughing. Women shook their heads in pity. Men whispered among themselves. Obinna tried to speak proudly, but his voice cracked like dry wood. I am still Obinna, son of the soil." But the people only laughed. His mother, Enyodia, ran out of her hut when she heard the noise. When she saw him, she fell to the ground, wailing. "Chai! My son! What have you done to yourself?" Obinna fell at her feet, weeping. "Mama, forgive me. I should have listened to you. The gods have punished me. A spirit came to me," she said. Your tears brought her. Enyodia lifted her hands to the sky, crying. "O ancestors! Is this how you answer my prayers? Must my son carry shame for the rest of his days? But the gods were silent. From that day, Obinna's life was never the same. The maidens who once admired him now mocked him. His friends abandoned him. He had no strength to farm, no charm to boast of, no pride to hold on to. He became a shadow of the man he once was. And the whispers of his downfall spread even faster than the stories of his pride. Life in Amoni changed for Obinna. The once proud young man, who had strutted like a cock in the village square, was now mocked openly. The women he once insulted laughed when they saw him. "See the lion that has lost his teeth," they said. "See the eagle that cannot fly." Children followed him, singing songs that pierced his heart like arrows. Obinna the proud, Obinna the boast. Now he is weak, like burnt-out toast. Men shook their heads and spat on the ground when he passed. "This is what pride does," they muttered. Obinna could no longer walk with his chest high. His back was bent, his legs weak. The strength he once used to charm women and fight other young men was gone. Even lifting a basket of yams became a struggle. Hunger visited his hut often. The maidens who once cooked for him now turned away. No friend came to share palm wine with him. He was alone, except for his mother. Enyadia watched her son's suffering with a heart heavy as stone. Every night, she wept in her hut. Every morning, she begged the gods to forgive him. But the gods gave no answer. One evening, when Obinna stumbled back from the stream, he found a group of maidens laughing. One of them, Adis, the same girl he once mocked, shouted, "Obinna, when will you make me carry your child in my belly? Oh, wait, your strength is gone. You cannot." The maidens burst into laughter, their voices sharp as thorns. Obinna's face burned with shame. He ran home, tears filling his eyes. For the first time in his life, he felt the weight of the insults he once threw at others. Enyadia could no longer bear it. Her son was a walking corpse, mocked and shamed, his pride crushed to dust. One night, she took a calabash of palm wine, kola nuts, and a white cock, and went into the forest. She stopped at the shrine of the river spirit, where women often prayed for fertility and healing. There, under the full moon, she knelt and cried, "Daughter of the river, spirit of the waters, you who hear the tears of women, hear mine again. Yes, I asked for my son to be taught a lesson, but now I beg for mercy. Spare his life, restore his strength. Do not let my only child die in shame." The wind blew, and the water of the river rippled though no stone had been thrown. A soft voice echoed across the water. "Enyadia, mother of Obinna, your tears brought me here before. Your son's pride was heavier than a mountain, and the God sent me to cut it down. But now your heart bleeds again. You ask for mercy." Enyadia raised her hands. "Yes, Great One. Mercy. Mercy." The voice sighed, soft as flowing water. "Your son mocked women, but now women mock him. He tasted the pain he once gave others. His pride is broken, but know this, Enyadia, a wound leaves a scar even after it heals. If I restore him, he will never be the same." "I accept," Enyadia cried. "Give me back my son, even if he is scarred. Let him live with humility." The river grew calm again. The voice faded, but one word lingered in the air. "Tomorrow." The next morning, Obinna woke to find his body lighter but still with scars. The heaviness in his bones was gone. When he looked in the mirror of water, his face was no longer pale and sunken. His strength had returned, though not as great as before. He ran to his mother, weeping. "Mama, the gods have spared me. I am alive again." Enyadia hugged him tightly, her tears soaking his shoulder. "Obinna, my son, you have been given a second chance but with scars. Whenever you want to insult women, these scars will be a reminder that women are sacred. Do not waste this second chance." For some days, Obinna walked quietly through the village. The people looked at him with suspicion. Some whispered, the gods have forgiven him. Others said, he will never change. One evening, as Obinna sat alone near the stream, he heard footsteps. He turned, and there she was, the mysterious woman, as beautiful as the first day he saw her. Fear gripped his heart. He fell to his knees. Great One, please, do not take my life. I have learned my lesson. I will never mock women again. I will honor my mother and women until my last breath. The woman smiled, her eyes calm and deep as before. Rise, Obinna. I did not come to destroy you again. I came to remind you. Do you know who I am? Obinna shook his head. She pointed to the flowing stream. I am the daughter of the river, yes. But I am also the spirit of every woman you mocked, every maiden you shamed, every mother you insulted. I carry their tears. I came because of your mother's prayer. Obinna bowed his head. Then I owe my life to women, the very ones I despised. The spirit nodded. Remember this, a man who mocks the womb that bore him mocks himself. A man who dishonors women dishonors his own life. Forget this lesson, and the river will claim you again. With that, she faded into the mist, leaving only the sound of rushing water. Obinna knelt by the stream, his tears falling into the water. For the first time, his tears were not of pride, but of true repentance. For many moons, Obinna walked humbly among his people. He no longer boasted in the village square. He no longer chased maidens or mocked women. He greeted elders with respect, helped children fetch water, and carried loads for women at the market. The villagers watched with suspicion at first, but slowly, some began to believe he had changed. His friends who once drank palm wine with him tried to tempt him back into his old ways, but Obinna refused. No, he told them. I have eaten the fruit of pride, and it was bitter. I will never taste it again. Still, not all wounds heal fully. Many maidens turned their backs on him. Mothers warned their daughters, a snake that bit once may bite again. Obinna accepted their distrust in silence. He had sown those seeds himself. One evening, while returning from the farm, he passed the same cotton tree where he had met the spirit. He paused, his heart heavy with memory. The wind rustled the leaves, and a voice whispered in the air. Obinna, son of Enyodia, remember. He shivered and hurried home. But fate had not finished with him. During the season of the New Yam festival, Obinna was chosen to wrestle in the village square. At first, he refused, but the young men laughed at him. As the lion lost his claws, they mocked. Ashamed, Obinna agreed. He faced his opponent, a strong man from a neighboring village. The crowd cheered. The drums beat loudly. At first, Obinna held his ground. But suddenly, in the middle of the fight, his strength vanished. His legs buckled, his arms grew weak. The opponent threw him down with ease. The crowd gasped. Obinna lay in the dust, trembling, unable to rise. He saw, in the corner of his eye, a figure standing by the edge of the square, the mysterious woman. She was watching, her eyes calm, her face unreadable. Obinna wept in silence. He understood then, the spirit had spared him, but she had not restored him fully. He would live, but never again as the lion he once claimed to be. His pride was gone forever. From that day, Obinna lived quietly, farming his small piece of land, caring for his mother, and keeping his head low. Years passed. Obinna grew older, slower, but wiser. He became a man who spoke little but thought deeply. Children of the village often asked him, Uncle Obinna, why do you walk with your head always bowed? And he would answer softly, because the earth we walk upon is our mother, and no man should raise his head too high above his mother. The villagers learned from his story. Mothers told their daughters, respect yourselves, for the gods see your tears. Fathers told their sons, respect women, for the womb that bore you is the first shrine you ever knew. And so, in Harmony, Obinna's downfall became a tale told by firelight for generations. It ended with the same proverb, spoken by elders whenever pride rose in a young man's heart. A tree that mocks the axe forgets that its own branches will one day be cut.